I teach high school math down or up in Galena, so for those of you who've been to Galena, it's a nice place. I'm also Alessandra's cousin, so shout out. Kayla, you want?
I teach at Bettendorf High School, so I'm just across the river. I teach math there, so I have geometry and algebra 2, and I'll be coaching today as well.
All right. Okay, so today we're doing interactive lessons because nobody likes to sit in a classroom and just be lectured at. That's exactly the whole philosophy of everything we've been taught at Augustana and everything that you're learning right now. So today's kind of like a takeaway day. We're going to try to give you a bunch of different activities and ideas and lessons that you'll be able to use in your classroom. It's not for us to stand here and lecture at you and tell you how great teaching is and how great da-da-da-da. We want you to actually be doing things so that you get ideas and you see how the activities work and what you can do and how you can apply this in your classroom. So the first thing we're going to do is an activity called Discovery Tag. Has anyone ever done Discovery Tag? Excellent.
Perfect.
Discovery Tag works like this. There are sheets of paper with vocabulary words on one side, the definitions, the matching definitions on the other side. Not everybody is going to get a piece of paper. Only some of us are going to get a piece of paper. The people who have a piece of paper are going to go to somebody who's sitting down in the room, and they're going to read the definition and see if they can guess it. So, do you know what you call the branch of a tree?
Branch?
I'm sorry, the correct word is bough.
Ah.
So since Dr. Egan got it wrong, then I pass over the paper to him. I'm going to sit in his seat, and he's going to go around and try to quiz somebody else. Now he's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing because I noticed he was glancing over the page. When you get the page, you should glance over it because you want to try to study the words because you don't want to be stumped. Does that make sense? Okay, we're only going to have a few minutes to do this, so it's your job to try to get as many of these words memorized and try to not be able to be stumped. So when someone comes to you and reads a definition, you want to be able to boom, 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 fire off those words. Papish? Okay.
What if I had gotten it right?
If you had gotten it right, then I would go on to a different student and try to stump somebody else because you were unstumpable.
Okay.
One more. Okie doke. On your mark, get set, go.
Do you know what an empty sock is?
Are you playing?
Yes.
Knocked up another
Got one right.
Nutcracker.
Hey.
What's that?
Part of a soldier, a knight or king with a large mouth.
And not good.
Activity.
An empty sock is no one's gonna
I got the hardest first one.
A wooden carving of a soldier and a knight
You can be
You memorized it already?
I mean, she had a sheet to begin with.
Wildly used.
Okay, excellent. Hold on, pause. If you have a paper, hold it up and be proud.
That's right.
Doesn't mean that you don't know your words. It just means the rest of us in here are unstumpable. So we're among very smart people. Very good. Okay, I'll collect your papers. Activities like this are awesome because they're super easy to do. Obviously, the words we used today were what themed? Christmas themed. But in our classroom, we can obviously use this to connect pretty closely to any of our contents. In math, I like to use it a lot, especially at the beginning of a lesson, kind of as an intro to get everyone kind of enticed about what's going to be going on. So I'll take some of the keywords of key vocabulary words for our unit. So chapter 1 will be, I'll choose the 10 most important words from our unit, and we'll do those words. And so students are trying to, stump each other on vertex or parabola or quadratic equation, words like that, just so they can kind of become familiar with the words at first. So when we learn them later on, they can say, oh, I know what that is. Because when we're learning a new concept, we don't want them to be overwhelmed with not only learning the new concept, but trying to figure out what in the world this thing is called. So I like to use it a lot in math at the beginning of lessons or units, and then also kind of as a recap at the end, because then it's kind of a full circle of, oh yeah, easy peasy, I got this, I know exactly what's going on. Take a second. I want you to kind of think about how you could use this in your content area, and we're going to shout out in a few minutes. So take a minute, think time. I know you guys are still thinking, but does anyone have any ideas of how they might be able to use this in your content area? Guys, it's early, but you can think. Yes.
Well, for English, we teach them vocabulary terms or parts of speech or things like that, so we can expose them to the definitions.
Good. How might you be able to use this in art?
There we go.
I was thinking like elements and principles of design, and which seems kind of obvious, but also like if you're teaching different artists, like what artists are known for, or their specific style, or specific famous pieces.
Cool. I also like that this gets people up and moving, so it's a good way to either start the lesson, just getting the blood flowing, get that brain activated, or even during the lesson you could be like, okay, you know, here we go, stand up, move around, things like that.
Ready for the next?
Oh yeah. Okay, everyone's favorites. This is obviously more of an activity that you can use if you have technology in your room. And how many of you have done a vortex sort? How many of you have already done student teaching? Did you have any smart boards or Promethean boards in your classroom? 2 people did. This is alarming. Oh, brother. Well, hopefully you end up in schools with technology because it's pretty helpful. The way this vortex sort works is you can type in any word you want down here into any of these pieces. And so, for example, we have 2 vortices. What's proper? I don't know what's the plural of vortex?
Both are accepted today.
You get the gist. Alright, great. So here we go. We're going to need some people to come up and be brave. What you're going to do is you're going to click on one of these down here, and it's a quote by either Piaget or Vygotsky. I never pronounce that one right. You have to click on one of these, read the quote, and then sort to whichever one you think. If it is correct, the vortex will suck it up and it will go away. If it is not correct, it will spit it out down low. So I guess that one.
I guess she gave one away.
That was not correct. Okay, so we need volunteers. Just go up there, try it out. You can go up with a partner if you want, and you have to click on one, read this quote, and try to put it in the correct sort. Ready, set, go. We'll start with that table over there. You guys look ready to go.
Wait, all of us? Or all of us?
Oh yeah,
You
band together.
need support, go for it. Why can't we just
Yeah, it's just one of the
There we go.
activities in
Good job,
smart
team.
notebook.
okay.
Woo! One done.
All right, let's take 2 people from this table. Go up in pairs.
Should we read it out loud?
Yes, let's read it out loud so we can all know what this quote is.
Okay, pick one.
Whoa.
For others, we become ourselves. Is that what it says?
Here, it's starting over again.
Yeah.
Through others,
We become ourselves.
Yep.
I think that's what we should.
Alright, go for
I
it.
think.
Nope.
Oh,
no.
Okay, cool. Choose another group.
You're not much bored.
You can. You can.
No, it doesn't work for me. I
It
can't
doesn't work
drag
well for
things.
me either.
Oh, I'm just putting it
I know.
So world devoid of thought
is a dead thing.
And thought unembodied in words remains a shadow.
A word devoid of thought is a dead thing, and a thought unembodied in words remains a shadow.
I wrote that.
What do you think, Callie?
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's go for Piaget.
Everybody loves
I
Piaget.
think I have more problems than you.
Oh.
We're the snarky,
maybe Mark and Mary should go next.
I don't know, we're gonna get it wrong.
Yeah.
We'll totally get it wrong now for all our snarkiness.
It's karma.
Exactly.
Yeah, great.
All right, this is time to show off.
A child begins to perceive the world, it's not only through his eyes, but also through his speech, obviously. Nice. Actually, the language piece.
We have a few more people who haven't gone up yet. If you haven't gone up yet, this is your time to shine.
Yeah.
The word choice is
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying anything alone.
I don't feel bad, but okay.
You can be teacher, you can stand
The
up.
only good learning is that which is in advance of development.
Good luck.
What are you thinking?
Piaget, go, go,
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
They all do it.
Probably
I don't know, guys.
Probably are.
Not all.
Alright, pick the right one.
Intelligence is what you use when
The probability is rising.
you don't know what to do.
I'm gonna take a shot in the dark.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, cool. Everyone has gone up. Obviously, you can see this would be more fruitful if we had just studied this unit. So for many of us, it has been a little bit since we, read up on our two faves over here. So this is kind of a neat thing to do. Again, this is just an application in Smart Notebook. So there are other ones too, like if you have a Promethean board, you can use Active Inspire, and there are some other neat things in there too. But hold on, can you go back for 1 second? Okay. You know how we had the quotes down here in the boxes? It's also good to do different kind of vocabularies. I use in math, I put different types of equations, and then they have to kind of sort between quadratic and linear. So there's different things that you could do there. There's also another option, especially for students at the younger grade, or maybe for art, things like that. Instead of having words in boxes, there's also boxes, like square boxes, that you could put images in too, so that students could click and drag the correct images to where they belong. Again, pretty fruitful in the younger grades and kind of the fine arts, so you can see things like that. It's pretty fun. A lot of the students like to get up on the board and it's more of putting the technology in their hands instead of letting them just watch and move on at the smart board. So they like to get up there and, play with it. So that's kind of fun.
Alright, so now we're going to give you that private reasoning time. Okay, it's very important that we give our students a chance to actually think through things on their own before they're forced to talk about things in groups. So take a minute and think about, again, how you can use it in your classroom or, something specific to your subject area, your content area. Should put you on the clock.
Dr. Egan's jumping the gun. Okay, now we're gonna do something that's called, it's a more structured talk, and we'll obviously go off a little bit. We're gonna go around the table, okay, and each person is gonna have 30 seconds to share an idea that they came up with. Okay. So decide who's gonna start. I think we can probably do that. And you'll just have 30 seconds to talk.
I feel like it's a good idea.
Look at this, yeah, you do it. Guys.
I'm mad having social concepts.
There are only two, it's just like an app that you pull in from and there's only two options. There's one where there's just portraits, so it's going to be either have, you know, yes or no's, basically, that's going. And then there's one with
I was thinking,
what is the squirrel portrait?
That's an interesting question.
There's only two, but I would love if they were more, but you can't like click and drag or
We do like a bell ringer every day. Just like a one-off.
I wonder if you could find that.
So we've done it for different
Surely
modules that
it's
we put
program.
up in Spanish and so we have to sort between.
Whoever programmed one or two.
I was thinking, like,
Right.
your
Well, I'm
emphasis
just
of, like,
I know, yeah.
kind of taking
You would, I used to think, but
putting it into certain vocabulary.
So then they have to
Do not
translate the
think
verb or
differentiate
the
between that.
vocab word and put it in right.
what version of Smart?
I was thinking
For math geometry, we just did all the like different types of parallelograms and like what makes things a
Yeah,
square
like
or
all the
whatever.
fonts are different.
And I could like and you put images in there too.
No, that's fine.
You have
Want
like
to make sure-
As long as it's still
diagrams
working.
of
Yeah,
things,
no,
or
sure.
whether it's a square or a rectangle or like whatever. But, like,
Which house they belong to.
Oh.
Do they not
have a,
I just want
site
numbers at the
license?
bottom and then have like prime,
They do.
positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I tried to use that. We wanted glitches are trying to have the
I am right now.
lets me into it.
I'm still
I need to go talk to this.
clinical.
Do you don't have one there?
I'm not in clinical right now. My teacher didn't have one last term.
Oh,
Yeah, so if you want to work on a file or a weekend or whatever at night.
I think we're good. Alright, so now I'm actually going to ask a couple people to share. So I've been kind of listening in a little bit, and I'm kind of a math teacher, so some math people stuck out to me over here. What did you have to say? How could you use it?
I'm student teaching in a geometry class right now, and we just got done doing all like the different types of parallelograms, so like square, rectangle, the opposite sides are congruent, all that stuff. So when you said that you could put like images in boxes, I was thinking it'd be cool to put like different images marked differently and have them sort what kind of shape it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've done that before. It's awesome.
So yeah, we showed you quotes. Obviously, you could go with like definitions, but she had an idea with images. What did you come up with?
A simple one is just like have prime and composite, and then have just a list of a bunch of numbers below, and obviously you just gotta separate it.
So review a concept, but something that can go really quick, and then you even had a math idea. What was your?
Yeah, my math idea was giving students pictures of graphs and having them sort whether it was a function or not a function.
Alright, so I love math, but we're spreading the love. History, what'd you have?
I said that especially with World War I and World War II, you could have so that students can differentiate between the two since they tend to have trouble with that.
So I think all good ideas there.
Hit the next button. I can.
Oh, well, alright.
I'll do. Okay. Next thing we're going to do for those of us, my first school that I taught at, I had an overhead projector. That was my technology and a chalkboard. So perhaps you'll find yourself in a situation like that. Doesn't mean that you can't do interactive lessons. Technology, having a smart board, is not the only route to doing that. You can go old school and you can still have the same idea and you can get quick feedback instead of, have you all been in a classroom where you've used like clickers in schools and things like that? So a lot of times the clickers are for quick rapid response feedback and they're usually multiple choice questions. You don't need technology to do that. You can just get the index cards, write A, B, C, and D on them. I use these in my classroom because sometimes the kids just like a change of pace, even though we have the technology. So we're gonna do that too. We're just gonna get a quick little rapid response. Here's what I'd like for you to do. We're going to have some multiple choice for us since we're in a collective group and we're not in a specific classroom doing a specific lesson. we've got some just fun trivia up there. But obviously, that. What I want you to do first, you're going to see a question up here on the board. Don't right away go, the answer is D, and hold it up so everyone else can see your answer so people would copy. No one wants that. What we're going to do is we're going to read the question, think about it first, think about your answer, and then when I say show me your answer, we'll all hold up our answers at the same time. Capiche? All right, here we go. What is the state reptile of Illinois? The horned lizard, the painted turtle, the box turtle, the red-bellied turtle. Think it over, think it over.
Wow.
Show me your answers. Holy moly, we're all over the place. I see B's, C's, and a D. Let's start with D. D is not right. Sorry, D. C? Not right. Looks like we're down to B's. B is correct. Those of you who know that, I shall finish D. Next question. How many NFL championships have the Chicago Bears won? A9, B7, C5, D11. Think about it. Don't show me your answer. Think about it. Show me your answers. A's, B's, and C's. So we can probably eliminate D. I see A's, B's, and C's. There's a pretty good mix of both. Or actually, B's are our least amount. So let's see if B. No. And then C's and A's. We have the least amount. We have most C's. So let's see. A is right. So those of you who got A, 9 Super Bowls. Cool. Next one. How many NBA championships have the Chicago Bulls won? A8, B7, C6, D5. Think about it. Show me your answer.
Oh, my God, someone really cut me out. I'm sorry.
A's, C's, and a D. Let's see. D? No. No one thinks it's B, so let's, between A and C, either 8 or 6. You like even numbers in here? 8's my favorite number. Let's try that out. Turns out the correct answer is 6. I've been guessing. Question 4. How many Stanley Cups have the Chicago Blackhawks won? A4, B5, C1, D2. If you don't get this right, I'm disappointed in all of you. I'll give you a hint. The answer is not C.
That would be really.
Show me your answer. A's and B's. All right, let's eliminate C. Oh, B was right. I hit the wrong letter. Nuts. It is 5. Good. All right, we've got just a few questions left. What's the state dance of Illinois? Everyone should know this one too. Square dance, clogging, swing, or polka? Clogging? Think about it. Think about it. You guys still have the clogging, Augustana, the clogging club?
Yeah.
Are you in it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Is that a hint to that answer?
All right, show me your answers. A's, C's, and D's. That means we're gonna get B out of there. Let's see. D. Nope. C's. Nope. It is square dance. Didn't a lot of you take square dance in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's our state dance. Come on. All right, you know this one. We have a 4th grade report on Illinois. State bird of Illinois: blue jay, cardinal, robin, goldfinch. You know this. You all did 4th grade. You know the state Illinois bird. Show me your answer. Not all of us know this, apparently. I see a majority of B, the cardinal. You got it. Nice.
Dr. was confident now.
Okay. Well, that's wrong because I went through all the answers. But if we had only chosen one class answer, it would tell us what's going on. Cool. What I love about doing show me the answer like that is that as a teacher, I was able to get quick feedback from everybody. It was a non-threatening environment. You guys were laughing and giggling the whole time. You weren't shaking in your boots of, oh, I don't know the answer, or I'm going to get this wrong. So it's a safe environment. People are able to just kind of relax and show what they really do think they know or don't know. So it's pretty handy, things like that. You get instant feedback. It's great for review at the end. So just kind of see where your students are at to see if, oh man, I need to do a little bit of reteaching, or we're good to go, ready to move on to the next concept, or we can quiz over this, things like that. Bless you. Okay, I will collect your cards while Kayla has the next fun thing for you.
So next up is a puzzle sort. And she kind of mentioned it was a non-threatening environment with this type of activity. You'll notice in the beginning when we asked you to get up, and it's good to get your students up and moving, but you guys were even hesitant, and you're brilliant minds, right? Ready to shape our education. So sometimes they might be a little bit hesitant, so if you want them to be able to actually think through things just at their desk where it's kind of less intense for them, what we just did was a good idea, and also the puzzle sort is another good idea. So I'm actually passing this out to everybody. You all get one. Get excited.
I can actually explain.
Okay. So what's going to happen, there's a bunch of slips all mixed in together. Your job is to match each question with a given situation. And depending, it's okay to unstaple. Unstaple, mix them up, see what you've got there. But for every situation, there's a question that you could ask as a teacher that would go along with it. Okay. And you might be able to justify that there's more than one answer, but take some time and kind of sort and match those up for me.
So you're matching pairs. There's a question, and then there's a statement that goes up with it. Choose, like she said, choose the best answer.
So the statements go along with a day-to-day situation you might encounter in your classroom with your students. And the question is maybe something that you can ask them to help get them unstuck or keep them moving along.
I do like that.
So this is what happens when you ask this question? Yeah. Okay.
I've noticed that a majority of you have paired up a student gets a correct answer, and can you explain that to me? So that means that you're all along the same thinking lines there.
And what did you learn could be a good question to ask as well. It doesn't have to necessarily be one right answer. So yeah, as you're working, a lot of you kind of have your basic ideas now. Go ahead and kind of compare with those sitting around you.
What's being asked of you? Oh, I put that first. You didn't get to stop.
Yeah, so I put first.
I don't know. I put what's being asked of you.
Yeah, I didn't know the students doesn't need to write.
Oh, you could do what you tried though.
That's what I because I said a student doesn't know where to begin, you can ask them what's being asked.
Did you get for which
Like
question?
thinking about math problems, and like, I don't know what to do. Like, figure out what it's
I would ask.
to do, like what's being asked of you. So I paired those two
See, for
together.
what to work on, I put what was hard.
That's what I have. What I just tried. I guess it depends
Yeah.
on the context.
Or that might be like
a
doesn't know where to begin.
that do.
I mean, so I can not
They
know
don't
what
understand.
it's very similar.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
have.
so it needs to know what to work
Or no,
on.
I have what to do. When did
They
you put
get
it
what
in
was
your
hard for
explain
you.
that?
What's the left
think
ear
it's
with?
better. Yeah.
What did I
But it
write?
also could be for an incorrect. Well, I got for an incorrect answer.
Not like satisfied with that, but
What did you say first? A student needs to know.
so,
That's always a good answer.
It's in the context of.
yeah.
So
Then what if the student doesn't know where to begin?
what can you ask them?
Because I think the like needs to know what his work is in the context that you finished all the worksheets in class.
Yeah.
I think either way, if you ask, if a student needs to know what to work on because they're confused, you can do something like, if they don't know what to work on.
I think I put, could you explain that to me for a student gets an incorrect answer? Because like, see that what they were thinking and what kind of like went wrong in their process.
See, and I put, could you explain that to me for a student who needs to know what to work on? Because they think they know it, and they're all done, they think they know it.
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you learn then? Or like, explain to me what you did. And it kind of gets that.
Sounds like we had some really good discussions. I like that a lot of you were talking it through and saying, not putting each other down of, no, this is the right answer, but you were talking through it of saying, okay, this is why I think this is why I think this could go with this could go with this, and this is why. So I think that's really good conversations going on. I like what I'm hearing.
The one that was, could you explain that to me? What did you decide that one was? Or did you have a disagreement? That was one there might have been a disagreement. What did you say it was?
The correct answer. Some of the students give the correct answer.
Okay. So a student gives a correct answer and we're thinking, well, all right, how'd you get that? Could you explain that to me? Okay, that's a fine way to go about it, but I'll let you get a different take. What was
Yeah,
yours?
I said a student gets an incorrect answer because if you have them explain their thought process and how they got to that incorrect answer, you can kind of find where they misstepped and kind of lead them towards the correct process to get that correct answer.
Okay. So actually both would work, right? I was kind of more aligned with this way of thinking. If you actually ask them to explain it, they might catch, oh shoot, I did something wrong there. Okay, and kind of have to go back. Was there any other ones that we might have had some disagreement? Or it might go more than one way? We're good. So again, just to give you an idea, okay, there's going to be different situations. Your students, there may be times where they want to kind of give up or quit working, but you've got to keep kind of pushing them for more. Okay, so that's kind of the idea behind that puzzle sort. Oh, you got it there, nice job.
I love puzzle sorts. I have a whole file drawer full of them in my classroom. I use them all the time with my high school students. It is not something that's just for elementary or middle school students. One of the big things that I use them for in my classroom is anything that has a specific process. So here we did more of a matching activity where students again had to match things up similar to the vortex, but I like to use them for processes. One of the big things, I know Kayla does this in her classroom too, we do it for proofs in geometry. So we have a statement and a reason, a statement and a reason. So it's not only matching up together the statement with the reason, but it also has to get the process in order. It's really great for concepts that are kind of difficult for students that have processes along with them. One of my favorite ones is completing the square because I think that's a lot of students struggle with completing the square, and there is a specific process that goes with completing the square. So what I do is I type up some completing the square problems and I chop them apart, and students, so they are able to see the correct steps. All they have to do is just put in order. So it's a great intro for them because they don't have to do the hard thinking of the math. They just have to try to understand the process first before they start getting into it. Some other ideas I know that other teachers have done, especially in science, there's a lot of different processes for anything from the scientific method to the way cells form, things like that. I'm sure there are history, you could do like timelines, things like that, order of events, getting them to get kind of just an overall idea of the process things happen. I'm sure there are art processes that I have no knowledge of. Right? Yeah. Yeah. What other subjects do we have in here? I know we have math, history, art, English, Spanish. Maybe you could do like conjugations, things like that. English, I'm sure there are a lot of different processes, like the writing process you could do. There's a multitude of things to do. I like that it's a tactile activity. Students have time to kind of form their own thoughts, talk it over with their neighbors. It's a good way to do informal assessments as a teacher too. A lot of times I have an informal checklist that I'm going around with, and I'm seeing if Susie is able to match up the correct processes, or if John has no clue in the world what's going on, I can say, oh, you know, make a little note of that, and that's something that we're going to do a little more intervention with, because this concept is still a little foreign to them.
Yeah, and again, it's a lot less intimidating. Just moving something around your desk is a lot less intimidating than if Miss O'Malley calls you up and says, hey, write this proof on the board. Okay, proofs are a really hard concept. Okay, again, I'm kind of focused on math. So if you just ask a student to, hey, come put this up, share what you're thinking, okay, they don't even really know where to start. So again, if they're just able to move those puzzle pieces around, it's a way to get them moving and thinking and towards where we want them to be.
Okay, next thing, you guys are very familiar with gallery walks, I know. We've got 3 different posters around the room, and we're, what do you do when? So we'd like you to kind of divide up into groups. We'll pull out, Kayla's got the markers here for us. So it's what do you do when one student is weaker than the others or not contributing? What do you do when you've reached the end of your lesson? What do you do when your students are working in teams, okay? Think of all the different situations that can come up. I know a lot of you have done student teaching, or you already are in student teaching. So you've come across these situations and you realize sometimes you find yourself in a pickle. So we've got to just do kind of a gallery walk. We're going to spend only a few minutes, maybe like 2 minutes on each one, and then we'll tell you when to rotate. Ready, mark, get set, go.
That one, there's less people on that one. Okay. Yeah.
That one takes like at least 5 minutes.
Usually for students that
Yeah.
or that I know is
Wearing them up.
right.
Or extra credit.
Normally assessing.
Yeah.
I'd say being weak and not contributing are 2 very different things. Like if a student is weak, then pairing them with a higher level is a good idea. But if they're not contributing, then the higher level person's going to do all the work.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So then how would you fix that?
If you're doing an activity, you also want to have a
If they're not contributing.
Yeah, they're just like they
So
just
if like this
done.
was for the weaker, what would the for contribute?
Yeah, let that go.
Yeah, they have so many different things.
Observing or acting as it.
Yeah, I do. We can like not contribute. They're very different.
What did you say?
Maybe the reason they're not contributing is because they're weak. And like they don't understand things, but there are plenty of kids who just don't contribute.
So what are some of these things
And like,
with like share and compare is pretty straightforward, just
Yeah.
brief like discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do one quick rotate because we've got another activity to do after this. So we know you guys are good at gallery walks, but we're just going to do one rotate. We're not going to get through all 3. So let's rotate in a clockwise manner.
They went crazy, right?
I think if they're weaker, you would do this. You would like pair them with someone who's like like in on a higher level. But the non-contributing part, maybe like find some sort of motivation for them.
And then to move next to each other because I know lots of kids
Make them accountable and move
there we go.
Usually that's read directions after, re-summarize your directions after they want because they forgot to say attended. Yeah, give them a time limit. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so you can do like stuff right
And remind them of their time limits halfway through.
like
And then adjust your time.
And make sure there's an end goal.
Yeah, make sure they know the goals.
I was gonna say, do you want to draw an actual map?
Knock it out. Allow some, like,
Look at that, look at that.
like, I think students think they're getting really good. It's like, no, I actually did that on purpose. As long as everything is really off task. Yeah.
I can't really
I don't know. It could be.
Like there might be some sort of like
Oh,
specific motivation for that.
You need to put the eraser
Instead of like kind of giving like incentive to the entire class just for that.
cursor. This is an old
Here,
smart
there you go.
We didn't have
Water bank came up.
We had the central.
With the station. Like as far as sorting. Or like sometimes it's good to sort on like feel their ability, but to make sure like random sort makes sense.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna pause for 1 second. Let's look at the question you're at. Again, in essence of time, where you've all done memory walk or gallery walks, yes? Okay. You read over the one that you're at. I'm going to do just one rotate just to read the answers that are at the one that you haven't been at. So take one rotate, one last station. You don't have to write anything down. I just want you to read over the one station that you haven't been at yet. Again, these are all situations that you're going to run into basically on a daily basis. Either your students are weaker than each other, you get to the end of your lesson and what do you do when, and your students are working in teams. They should be doing that quite a bit.
They're not contributing. I normally just like. I more have problems with larger groups not contributing. It's like because it's a staff that don't have them have together and discussing. Yeah, they're I think so. I should hold that group away just to make that.
See, I either make everybody write something, which of course makes a lot of work for me, which is fine. Or like I ask for like, okay, we're not gonna move on until we have 5 answers. Or we're not gonna move on until
I don't know about that is there.
All right, neat. Let's grab our seats. Hopefully you've got some ideas on what to do. Next thing we're going to do is an activity that I like to do either at the end of a unit. That seems to be the best to do at the end of a unit or at the end of a, there are days, unfortunately, where you are going to find yourself maybe having to lecture for the entire period, something like that. Hopefully it doesn't happen too often. But a memory box is a neat activity, a neat idea. It can kind of debrief what's going on. So we've got blank paper. Where did I put that?
Oh, front paper.
Aha! So everyone's going to get a piece of paper, and on your paper, you can either draw a box if you want, or you can just use it on your paper. I want you to first take a minute to review your notes. So I know lots of you are rapid fire, you're taking notes. Take 1 minute, read over your notes first. Try to remember everything you can from today. Okay, turn your notebooks over so you're not looking at your notes. On your blank piece of paper, this is your memory box. You're writing down everything you have stored in your memory from today. I want you to write down as much as you can. We're going to give you 1 minute to write down as much as you can remember that you have learned or that we have done today. You can draw pictures, you can make lists, you can write a novel, whatever you like to do. seconds left. Halfway done. Bless you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop you here. I know lots of you are still writing away. And just in the essence of time, that's one reason why we're stopping. I like to usually allow my students several minutes to do this, because then after you write your own list, then what you would do is you'd partner up with somebody. And when you partner up with somebody, you compare lists and say, okay, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. For every point that you have written down that your partner does not, you would get a point. So it kind of makes it a kind of a fun competition game for your students, because it gives them more of an incentive to write down as much as they can, because then when they partner up with somebody, they're going to want to try to beat them to get more points. It's a pretty neat thing to do, especially again at the end of a unit. It's really neat for end of history units. I've seen a history teacher do this, and gosh, those kids, it's like they're almost writing a textbook, because they just write every single thing down that they know, and it's really cool to see, because it's physical evidence of, hey, this is everything that we learned throughout this chapter. Again, it's really cool, especially because you can do pictures, like I said. Everyone's lists look different. Some of you did bullet points, some of you did different categories. I saw I had like a list over here, this over here. I saw like more of like a flow chart going. It's pretty neat. So all of yours are different, but my guess is most of you have the same ideas. Again, you'd partner up, you try to go through the list, but there's just never enough time in the world, is there? Okie dokie, guys. Does anyone have any questions for us? Time to scoot along to your next session then. Thanks for having us. Thank you.